So you think people are really bad just because they're not willing to be flexible with some things? Well, I'm going to try to make this clear to you that having flexibility is a prudently required ability. Only in this one, the only exception you have to that is if you're under a year-long resolution plan, which can never work flexibly no matter what. But you gotta realize you have to have the FL genetic in order to be flexible at all, and that's just the way it goes. If we think we have a right to have a person practice being flexible as a way to learn how to do it, the person you're working with often makes an attempt to defy your decision. They'll probably sneak off and do things with whatever they think is best for them. They'll probably threaten you if you try to do that in an attempt to make them be tolerant in impoverished situations. They'll probably skip the situation and go tell a person authority to pry themselves out of the situation. You're going to get an awful lot of backtalk responses like, "Not on my freedom certificate." NOMFC are spoken in defense of a false punishment. Search parties end up happening in the situation, which leads to heavy expenses that'll need to be paid later on. Fuel and maintenance costs on vehicles get sky high because of all the searching for a missing person is going on. Don't you see? You gotta realize this is what happens when you try to practice things. This is especially true if you try to make someone and live in a choice that's inconvenient for them just for the fun of it. And I can tell you right now, that kind of behavior is not adaptable, and you know that. If we show respect for a person who hasn't the genetics to be flexible and use neurophysical repair to fix it, the person you're working with decides to work with you in the decision made for them. They won't be as willed to sneak off and do things with whatever they think is best for them. They won't be as willed to threaten you if you try to understand that that situation is no good for them. They won't be as willed to skip a situation and go tell a person of authority to pry themselves out of the situation. They won't be as willed to talk back at you with that response, "Not on my freedom certificate," NOMFC, since you realize that what you are doing is wrong. There won't be any need for a search party since you realize that people stay with you if you go by their situation and not just yours. Fuel and maintenance costs on vehicles don't get nearly as high from having to search for a missing person, and more people get medals. But there's something you need to understand. If you think you have a right to go and mess around with someone just because they can't be flexible, making an impulsive choice, and you don't listen to how it affects them, just remember, that person actually has a court order to make you knock it off and cut you out of it for sure. And you're going to be in big trouble with whoever has to come and stop you. And in fact, any school program that has coping skill practice, that tries to do flexibility by making things happen at inconvenient times as an enticement into an activity where tolerance is involved, they're going to be stopped, and that's that. That means each employee there has a court order to skip the situation, and that means there's no getting out of the situation if you don't work right. Those programs are really not legal at all. They need to be banished once and for all, which means you really want a good social life, you should let them see their own friends they like best. But you do not make someone who's unable to handle a student who can't help it too easily. That is rude. That is not acceptable anytime whatsoever. Good day.